We lost an icon of Union Church this summer, and for complicated reasons, Connie Burgess did not have a funeral. So we're dedicating Sunday morning worship to her. She was one day short of her 94th birthday when she passed. I'd like to begin by speaking of my first encounter with Connie Burgess. She was, I think, 89 years old at the time. It was my candidate Sunday. That is when I came here to preside and preach. And after worship, my wife and I left the sanctuary while the church members discussed my candidacy and voted on me to become the settled pastor of Union Congregational Church in East Bridgewater, Massachusetts. During the worship service, when we got to celebrations and concerns, Connie's hand was the first to shoot up. I called on her. She stood and she said how happy she was to be back after her second hip replacement surgery and how proud she was of the fact that she was driving again. She said that she, in fact, drove here from Plymouth that morning, roughly a 40-minute trip. I celebrated her concern and I celebrated her return and thanked her for the warning that she's driving again. Connie parking that big bomber in our parking lot is the stuff of legend. Howard Martin used to say that parking for Connie was a contact sport. After she stopped driving a few years ago, Lenore and I drove to Plymouth to visit Connie. Lenore told me that she had told Connie that she was bringing a special guest, but that did not tell Connie that it was the pastor. And when we arrived, we got through the greeting, we went to sit down. The first thing that Connie said was, "I was hoping it would be the organist. She's really funny." What am I, chopped liver? I can be funny too, you know. Actually, it was a really nice visit. I did communion for her. The three of us partook, and she loved that. Connie was the definition of the popular book and phrase, the greatest generation. These are people, as described by Tom Brokaw, that endured the poverty of the Great Depression as children, defeated one of the greatest evils in history, and went on to build the greatest society that has ever existed on the face of the earth. Connie, on the surface, lived a good life. I don't think she experienced fame or fortune. There are no expectations I've heard of that there will be a bridge named after her, or that she is a member of the Hall of Fame or winner of a Nobel Prize, nor are there reports of murder convictions, bank heists, or revolutions attempted. Connie lived a good life. She loved her country and her family and was proud of both. She worked hard and participated in this world in positive ways, following the rules, being trustworthy, getting married, raising a family, just living a good, solid life. She lived a life of family and faith. How wonderful. Connie had a passion for quilting, and some of her artwork is here today. She is the founder, along with Belle Kane, of our Needles for Love group. The group meets on Wednesday mornings downstairs from our fellowship hall. It has a number of members now, some of whom are not members of our church. Once Connie stopped driving to church, she continued to make quilts at home. She moved to baby quilts as they were more manageable. Lord knows how many quilts she made. It's certainly in the hundreds. It may well be in the thousands. She loved doing them, and she was a real artist at it. But her joy was in that most of them went to charities. And as I said to our children earlier, every stitch was made with the love of Christ in her heart. I'd like to speak to the unique place that Connie held in this church. She deeply loved Union Church. She raised her children in this church, wore many hats, including Sunday school teacher. Her children speak of how strict she was with them in Sunday school so that the other kids would fall in line. There's a story of when her husband was doing well in the oil business. They had a lovely home. And this church went into financial difficulty. It was long before my arrival. And Connie made a loan to the church to bail them out of their troubles, and then forgave the loan. Connie grieved the fact that she outlived her money. She never expected to live this long. I want the family to know that people talk about her all the time here. There is never a time when she is spoken of when there isn't a smile on everyone's face, and usually laughter. Now, let's be real. If talking were an Olympic event, Connie would have won more gold medals than Michael Phelps. I want the family to know that Connie will always be loved in this holy place. Her memory will never die. And we can trust in God, who gives us life, who gave Connie life, that the full meaning of that life is to be found in grace, the love of God. For it is this love that gives to people meaning and purpose and makes the whole of life real and true. It is in this spirit that we bid farewell to this our sister, who was in a closer presence to God, who was restored to Christ, where faith, hope, and love abide. Amen.